Hello, and I'd like to welcome you and say thank you for logging on for your Year 9 to 10 information session. Just to go through a couple of people who will be speaking today. We've got Nick Quinney. She is apologising because she's not very well. I'm Nora Maloney, and we've got Nick Taylor here, who is the Pathways Coordinator. Today, or tonight, this evening, is your chance to really look at what you want to do in the senior school. You'll find as you move into the senior school, there are many opportunities to be a little bit more independent, perhaps, than you were in the junior school. And for that reason, when we created the Year 10 course, we're always looking to try and give you opportunities to be independent and to choose subjects. Tonight is the first part of the subject selection process. After we have this session tonight, the information session, we'll be having a question and answer, a chance for you to ask some questions. On Wednesday in Mentor, the students will be working with the Mentor teacher, looking at the subject selection handbook and also looking at the career action plan, reviewing their Moresby report and thinking about what subjects they may like to choose. Then on Thursday, students will have an individual subject selection interview. And lastly, on August the 23rd, Monday, after the weekend, they'll have a chance to submit their form, and that will be the final selection process. Tonight, we'd like you to really consider what you want in your course. Listen, be curious, ask lots of questions of your teachers, ask students who are doing subjects similar to the ones that you would like to do. Attend all your all your mentor sessions. Make sure you're organised for your individual subject selection interview. And think about what you want to do in the future. Today I asked all students to take their booklet home, so that we will be referring to this booklet as we work through the slides tonight. Okay. When we refer to subject selection, there are actually 8 KLA areas that we cover here at school: English, Maths, Science, Humanities, Health and Physical Development, Languages, Technology, Visual and Performing Arts. These are key learning areas, and we need to cover as many of those as we can. The course in Year 10 next year will be slightly different to what students have completed this year. If you have a look at page 6 in your book, you will see that there's a list of subjects on page 6. At the top, there are core subjects that all students must cover. So students will be doing 2 semesters of English, 2 semesters of Maths and 1 semester of Humanities. From there, they will then have to select subjects or electives within the subjects. So within Science elective, they will have to choose one of the electives that are listed under Science on page 6 on the left-hand side. When they choose HAPE, they will have to choose one of the electives that are listed under Health and Physical Development. It's the same for Art and the same for Technology. The last 3 options they have to choose are open electives. They can choose whichever subjects they like from either the elective subjects or the open electives. The reason why this has changed is because Victorian Curriculum Authority has introduced some parts of subjects that we have to include within all Year 10 program. Consequently, we have found that we have to have some more compulsory subjects. So, for example, within humanities, we will be covering the Holocaust. Within HAPE, we will be covering respectful relationships and consent. So there are certain areas of the subjects that we have to cover. And so we've found that we have to introduce some compulsory subjects. But at the same time, we realise that students need to be able to elect to do subjects and also to do different areas within the one subject. If you look at this slide here, within English, there are 3 different areas of English, but students only elect to do one of those. So the English Essentials, English as an additional language. Again, there's 3 different types of maths, but students elect to do one maths only. Humanities, all students have to do humanities. Students are going to be asked to identify which area of English or which area of maths they would prefer to do. When you choose your English or your maths subject, we'd like you to consider how confident you feel about that subject and also how confident you felt before COVID. We understand that sometimes with remote learning, some students found particular subjects quite difficult, and they may believe that they are better off doing one type of English rather than the other, or one type of maths rather than the other. If you look on page 15 of your book, you can see English is explained. There are 2 different types, as we said, English Essentials and English. English Essentials, if you have a look in the green section, it's for people who found English challenging and would benefit from a little bit of extra support. English is for students who are quite confident with English and are scoring well above their level in their CATs or even at level in their CATs. Again, if you look at page 45 in the book, you'll see that maths is explained, just the same as English. So when you are choosing which maths or which English to do, keep in mind that, think about how confident you are in that subject, but it is important for me to point out to you that if a teacher believes you have chosen an English which you may find too easy or too difficult, they will probably be having a conversation with you about why you've chosen that subject and just which English is better for you to do. This is a sample Year 10 program. As you can see, a student will complete English in Semester 1 and Semester 2. They'll complete maths in Semester 1 and Semester 2. Then they'll do humanities. Now, the humanities may be in Semester 1 or Semester 2. It won't necessarily be in Semester 1. The science subject they've chosen is sports science. The health and human development subject they've chosen is Fit to Lead. Robotic systems is within technology. And visual and performing arts is within, we've got 3D art. The last 3 are subjects or units the student has chosen from either the subject electives or the open electives. So this student has chosen psychology, making money and how to do it, and baking, food, baking with flair. Of course, even though we have listed some subjects for Semester 1 and Semester 2, it may mean some students may be doing different electives in different semesters. So baking, we've listed baking with flair in semester 1, but it may actually occur in semester 2. It will depend on the student's subject selections. Very capable students who are prepared to work hard and who submit their work on time may choose to study a VCE Unit 1 and 2 while they are in Year 10. Normally, when a student gets to Year 12, the student's first highest 6 subjects are counted towards their ATAR score. Now, the ATAR score allows them to go to university. In Year 12, students usually only choose 5 subjects, and so if they choose a 6th subject while they're in Year 10, it can give them a little bit of an advantage for gaining university placements. If a student is interested in doing a Unit 1 and 2 VCE unit, they need to collect an application form from their mentor teacher, Mr. Phelan, Miss Borden, Mr. Hobbs, Mr. Hardy or Miss Maloney. Your current teacher and your Unit 1 and 2 teacher has to approve your choice. So you may find that if you want to do a Unit 1 and 2 subject, the teacher may be asking you whether you do your work on time, or they may be pointing out to you that perhaps you have not been working as well as what you could have been, and to do the Unit 1 and 2, you will have to work quite a bit harder than what you have been doing. We recommend that students only do 1 VCE subject unless they're scoring well above level for most of their subjects. If a student chooses to do Unit 1 and 2 in Year 10 and then go on to do Unit 3, 4 in Year 11, this is an opportunity for students to get really good marks in that subject because they will be working hard on that subject and doing extra work so that they can get a very good score. This score is then contributes to their final mark or their final ATAR score when they go into at the end of Year 12. Another option Year 10s have is to do a VET subject or vocational education and training program. This is a nationally accredited program. So in other words, if it's recognised here in Victoria and anywhere else in Australia. It involves on-the-job training at workplaces or structured workplaces. Sometimes that if a student chooses to do a VET subject, they may have to do that structured workplace training during their holidays. The VET course usually goes for 2 years, but you can start the VET course while you're in Year 10. There are 3 VET courses that are offered here at Mount Clear: Building and Construction, Hospitality and Music Performance. The Hospitality and Music Performance can contribute to your VET VCE score, and the Building and Construction can contribute to the VCE score, but you don't have to do an exam in it. And so what actually happens is your Year 12 scores in other subjects are used to calculate your Building and Construction score if you choose to continue with VCE. There's one other subject, VET subject offered here at Mount Clear, and that's music sound production. But the music is not part of Mount Clear. It is offered by Highlands Len. It just so happens that it occurs here at Mount Clear. Highlands Len also offers many other VET subjects. They range from some of the ones that are available. We've got automotive, agriculture, community services, retail, animal studies, allied health, media, sport and recreation, and there's many others. Usually the student attends school in the morning and then goes to the VET subject in the afternoon. Previous to this, it's always been on a Thursday afternoon from about 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It varies a little bit from subject to subject, but that is normally normally the time the student has to do the subject. This, of course, means that they'll miss their subject that they normally do on a Thursday afternoon. They have to be prepared to catch up on that subject. Students normally catch the bus into town, or sometimes their parents pick them up and take them into town. Some courses are offered at Federation College, and some courses are offered at the university. It just depends what course the student chooses to do. I'm going to pass over to Nick Taylor now so that she can talk about the pathway the student may choose.
Thanks, Nora. I'd also like to take this opportunity to remind you to send any questions you've got through to the chat stream of whichever platform you're currently watching this live stream on. So part of my role here at Mount Clear College is to help students work through their pathways, to look at the options that they have for after Mount Clear College and to work out the best way to get to where they want to be going in the future. With this in mind, while you're selecting your Year 10 subjects for next year, we encourage you to keep your options open, to choose a broad range of subjects, which you have to because of the way the setup works next year. We also encourage you to try new things. Next year in Year 10 is a chance to try some subjects that you've maybe not had the chance to study before you go into VCE. You may never have studied psychology or sports science or some of the health and PE electives. There's so many options out there. We would really encourage you to keep your options open and to try lots of new things in Year 10 before you select your Year 11 and 12 subjects. When you are looking to choose your subjects for next year, we also ask you to be mindful of maybe prerequisites. If you're looking to go to university, what subjects do you maybe need to get into the university course that you want to go into? Prerequisites for universities are generally maths, English and science-based subjects, but sometimes there are additional requirements for universities. If you've got any questions about prerequisites for universities, I encourage you to get in touch with me in Careers at school. The other thing we ask students to have a look at while they're looking for subjects for next year is their Moresby report. A large number of our Year 9 students have completed these this year and have had one-on-one interviews with our career consultants to discuss what their profiles suggest to them. Within their profiles, they have been given a range of subjects that they should be undertaking in senior school. So now would be a great time to dig up your Moresby report, log back onto the system and have a look at what subjects have been suggested to you. It's also an option for those Year 9 students who haven't completed their Moresby profile to do that now, to get some ideas of what subjects you could look at studying next year. Another essential part of the Year 10 program is work experience. All our students are expected to participate in at least a minimum of 1 week's work experience next year in Year 10, but we encourage students to do multiple opportunities if they would like. Work experience is a wonderful chance to get out into the workplace, to explore different jobs and careers that you may be looking to pursue after Mount Clear. The only proviso is that you can't do it during exam periods and you cannot do it over the Christmas holidays. Otherwise, you are free to go on work experience as long as all your paperwork is completed and submitted 2 weeks prior to you starting work experience. So start thinking now about some places that you would maybe like to go to for work experience in 2022. The other thing we encourage you to have a look at the moment, and you're lucky in the sense that most things are happening virtually, is open days. So you can join a lot of university open days from the comfort of your home. Open days are run most Saturdays and Sundays during August, so they're about halfway through in terms of which universities are offering open days in the coming weekends. However, given most things are happening virtually at the moment, you would be able to access these even if you've missed the dates. So we'll have lots of recordings and question and answer sessions up on their web pages. So please go to the university websites and have a look and see what's on offer. In addition to university websites, I encourage you to have a look at the Mount Clear College Careers website as well as the Mount Clear College Careers Facebook page. On these websites and Facebook pages, we put lots of information about universities, apprenticeships, traineeships and job vacancies that are available to students. So have a look at those and make sure you bookmark them so that you can regularly check back in to see what opportunities are there for you. Another option for Year 10 for those of you looking at a vocational pathway or through VCAL would be to look at starting maybe a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship alongside your Year 10 subjects. In addition to doing that, you could be doing a vet course as well. So there's some other options for students that are maybe not looking to go to university or further study after school. You could start to explore what a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship might look like, or alternatively a vet course alongside your Year 10 subjects. That's it.
Okay, so you can see there's many opportunities for you to look at and to research and to investigate. What will happen after you have submitted your subjects? The English and the maths teachers will have a look over your preferences and confirm what you have chosen, or else have a conversation with you about why you have chosen that, that English or that maths. They're using your choices. There will be then your subject, the student preferences are entered into the system, and a timetable is created. Students will be notified of subjects that will be offered, but please be aware, if a certain subject is not chosen, is not very popular, or there's a clash on the timetable, we will be following up with students. That is why we will be asking you to choose 2 reserve electives, not just the 12 electives, not just the 9 electives. We will be asking you to choose 2 reserve electives, just in case you don't get the elective that you would like to get first up. So the next steps. Look through your course guide, have a discussion with your mentor teacher on Wednesday and also with your parents, and participate in Mentor in a positive manner. This is a great opportunity to look at everything that you could do, and so use that time productively. If you need to, go and speak to teachers, speak to fellow Year 10 students about subject choices, but please remember, do not choose subjects according to what your friends are doing or what subject a teacher is taking. There is no guarantee that the same teacher will be taking that subject next year. On August the 19th, attend the interview, organised with your subject selection sheet filled in as much as possible. And lastly, make sure that all your forms are submitted by the 23rd, which is the Monday, next Monday, so that you do get the choice that you want wherever we can. Now, earlier Nick asked if there are any questions, so I don't know if any have been sent in, but we'll check with Matt.
We do have a few questions. Yes, we might start with the first one. Will parents get a chance to speak with mentors this week? And there was another similar one around that. Are parents welcome to be part of the subject selection interviews?
Yes, we did have subject selection interviews for Year 10s earlier this week. What we did when we had that interview is we rang the parents. And so we put the parents on speaker and sat with the child, and we had a discussion about the subjects that were offered.
They had pre-booked those with you too,
yes,
hadn't they, Nora?
Yes.
So if that's what you're wanting to do to be part of your interview with your child, we would encourage you to pre-book that interview so that we can arrange to call you during your child's allocated time.
Yep.
Okay. And there's another one here. If you choose Year 11 Health and Human Development, does it count as your HAPE elective or 2 open electives?
Health and Human Development is a little bit different from art and technology and science, because within Health and Human Development we have to offer respect for relationships. Within the Health and PE elective in Year 10, we have to cover respect for relationships and consent. So a student has to choose one of those electives under the Health and PE, but they can also choose Health and Unit 1 and 2 Health and Human Development under the open electives. In the other subject areas, they could choose, say, studio arts instead of one of the art electives if they wanted to. Same with technology and same with science.
Okay. Is the book list available online currently?
This booklet
Yeah, the
will be-
booklet.
This booklet
Yes.
will be available online as of tomorrow.
The Year 11 and 12 booklet is available currently online, so if you wanted to see Year 11 and 12 subjects, you can access that through the website.
There's a question here around a student completing a school-based apprenticeship. So if a student is completing a school-based apprenticeship, how many electives do they have to choose?
That's a very good question.
Normally, we would say they do a total of 4 subjects. So that would be compulsory English, compulsory maths, and then they would choose 4 electives. But obviously we discuss it with the students. It depends which vet subject they're doing or which school-based apprenticeship they're doing. And we also look at the timetable, because within the timetable, students often have to go and do one day's work. So we try and avoid an elective where the students would be doing that elective on the day when they're out working.
And it would depend on what industry they're looking to do the school-based apprenticeship into as to whether they need to miss lots of hours at school or whether some of their work placement hours could be done outside of school hours after school.
Another question regarding the open electives. Are they able to be chosen from any of the electives in the booklet?
Yes, they can be chosen from any electives in the booklet.
There's a question here around allocation of electives. Is it first in, best dressed, or how are they allocated?
Normally what happens is after the 23rd, we enter all the electives into the computer, and the computer tells us which ones were most popular. And so if you've got your electives, your form submitted by the 23rd, if there are enough people to offer that unit, it's offered to students.
And sometimes we would run multiple
Yes.
classes of the one subject if numbers are high enough to run 2 classes.
And if a student's struggling to make their choices by Thursday this week, what options are there for them?
We'll have a discussion on Thursday, but then they've got until the following Monday to actually submit their forms. So if a student came on Thursday and we selected certain subjects, and then they went home, had a discussion with their parents, and they decided perhaps they should have chosen an alternative subject, we will of course give them the opportunity to change, and then they can take the form home and get it signed again by the Monday.
Because the students will receive a copy of the subjects they choose in their subject selection interview that comes home and is signed off by a parent or guardian before it is entered into our system to generate elective classes.
Another question here about accelerated VCE subjects. If a student chooses a VCE English or maths subject, would that count as their core English or maths in
That
Year
is,
10?
I don't think I can answer that. Normally we would encourage you not to be choosing English, or perhaps general maths might be okay, but we would be encouraging you not to choose, or recommending that you don't choose English, because often English is a subject that the students have to gain a certain mark for in Year 12. So it can, if a student cannot get that mark, it can limit their entry into university. So often the subjects that are discussed in English, students can have a better understanding when they're a little bit more mature. And so we would encourage you not to be choosing English. Maths, we would have to discuss with the Maths KLA leader and the curriculum assistant principal, Nick Taylor. Nick Quinnick. Nick Quinnick. Sorry about that one. Are there any other questions?
Okay, at the moment the questions seem to have slowed, so if there's any others, now's a great time to pop them in, otherwise we're finished. That looks to be all.
That looks to be all. Don't hesitate to call Nick or I or Nick Quinney if you have any more questions, and I'd like to thank you for logging on.
I've just had a late question.
Okay, yeah?
If a student is interested in equine studies,
Yeah.
how do they go about applying for that?
The vet course.
Yes. Yeah.
So the Highlands Len have a webpage where students need to register and apply to do their vet courses through the Highlands Len. That's where we register to do the courses that we don't offer at Mount Clear College. Prior to registering to do a vet course, your student will need to create a USI number. You cannot get through the registration process without a USI number. Getting a USI is actually a really simple process. You just go to the USI website. You will need to have some form of identification, e.g. Medicare cards, passports, those sorts of documents to register for a USI, and then you use that number to register to do the vet course on the Highlands Len webpage. We will show the students, those web pages and opportunities in mentor class on Wednesday.
Yeah, and there will be a handout sheet explaining this to the students on Wednesday. Although if they want to see me tomorrow, I can give them the sheet if they would like it.
And now that's definitely the last question. Thank you.
So thank you very much for logging on, and as I said earlier, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to call the college and speak to Nick Taylor, Nick Quinney or I.
Mr. Jones.
I know I've said that was the last question twice, but a really good one has just come through. Can you please explain the current outdoor education provisions for subject selections? Talking about the accelerated studies.
Yeah, so
Right. Oh, yes.
yeah, very good question.
Yeah, so because Outdoor Ed go on camp, the school has developed a policy asking students to do Unit 1 and 2 Outdoor Ed in Year 10 and Unit 3 and 4 Outdoor Ed in Year 11. This means that they don't miss classes when they are in Year 12. So if a student would like to do Outdoor Ed, they can choose to do Outdoor Ed in Year 10, Unit 1 and 2, and then Outdoor Ed in Year 11, Unit 3 and 4. I hope that explains it clearly enough.
Yeah, and there's just some reinforcement there that we are confirming that VCE subjects are in the open elective blocks.
Yes, yes.
And this is the third and final call. We're all done. Thank you.
We'll give you a little bit of time to think. We might need some music. We right, Matt? Yep. I think that's the end. So thanks again for logging on, and as I said for the third time, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ring us and ask us. Nick Quinney will be able to answer curriculum questions. I will be able to answer VCE questions, and Nick Taylor here will be able to answer career-based questions. Thank you for logging on. See ya.
Good night.
Good night.